Hello, hello, and welcome back to the community. I am super excited that you guys are here. If I'm honest, this is probably going to be a bit of a vulnerable post. I want to share a big takeaway I've had over the last 24 hours, and I'm not really sure how it'll come out because I didn't rehearse it. I was just like, you know what, go live. Um, Yesterday, I shared a picture of myself from my senior year in high school in celebration of our class's 20-year reunion. It's me and a couple of girls and guys I cheered with. And when I first shared the picture, it was like truly nostalgic, right? It's like, oh, this is so much fun. It's great. But the more that I looked at the picture, the more like sad or down I kind of felt. Like I keep saying the word melancholy. And I'm like, I really need to like think about like, why do I feel this way? And I realized it's because, plain as day, y'all, I'm the girl in the photo, but the girl in that photo is not me. And it's not because that was 20 years ago. Heck, we're all a different person than we were 20 years ago. But I've had to rewrite my story so many times. I've had to unlearn habits and cycles and patterns and like reframe my mindset and pick up the pieces so many times that like I don't remember very large chunks and portions of my life. And that is a chunk of my life that I truly do not recall a lot of. And what I do remember is that that's the origin story of all of the things that I had to unlearn in order to be the most successful version of myself that I am now. Like that's the origin story for perfectionism and the need for social validation and feelings of inadequacy and all the foundation for limiting beliefs and not being good enough and picking your body and yourself apart and wondering if you're ever going to be selected or chosen. Like all of the things that I'm not and I never want to be again. And I recognize that like that is totally normal for lots of teenagers, but those beliefs that were birthed there followed me into early adulthood. And I realized as I started thinking about like going home and what this is going to look like that when you go home, just like you go home to your family, lots of times old habits die hard and those feelings start to swell up in you again and you start to wonder. And it's like, you know what? This is why people aren't posting on Facebook because they're worried about the girl in high school who did this. And this is like a lot of things that should not matter. And I realize I've done a lot of inner work and a lot of growth, but there are people out there who saw that like pop up for a 20-year class reunion and got heart palpitations. And they were worried about what this person was going to say about them or that person. They were nervous about what they looked like now or their weight or what they had achieved or they haven't achieved or how far people estimated that they would go and they didn't go and their business isn't doing as well as they thought it would. All of these things and all of these excuses and all of these reasons to start beating yourself up again. And I want you to stop and breathe. There are so many things that I would say to baby Kayla if I could coach her right now. I would warn her that the world is going to rip the rug out from under her feet 1,000 times, but she is a freaking phoenix and she keeps getting up and she's freaking unshakable now. I would warn her that time and time again, her heart was going to be broken and she would get her hopes up really high to get knocked off a pedestal. But if she held tight, she was going to meet a man who would love her with every fiber of his being. There's so much stuff I would tell baby Kayla. I can't tell her that, but what I can tell you is that you don't need to earn love. You don't need to earn your spot to be amongst us. That you don't have to be a certain weight or size or shape or have a certain amount of revenue or have a certain amount of kids or a certain marital status. And that there's nothing in this world that says you aren't enough. I don't want anybody like shaking in their boots, wondering what people are going to say or think about you. Because so many people that we went to school with, so many people that we loved, they did not get the privilege of making it this far. And I don't want us to turn on each other or beat up each other or feel like we need to cower or shrink because we're so worried about what other people are going to do. We're almost 40, y'all. We're almost 40, and none of us are the people that we were when we were 18, when we were 17. And if you're still feeling those feelings of inadequacy, if you're still feeling those feelings of love, I want to share with you the greatest thing I've ever done for myself. It's the thing that took me from invisible and hiding in everyone else's feelings and emotions and shrinking myself to be more digestible to being unstoppable. And that is, I chose me. I chose to become the main character of my life. I chose to become a co creator in my destiny. I chose to stop being stagnant. I chose to stop being scared. That's a lie. I was still scared, but I did it anyway. Whatever it was, I chose me. I stopped waiting to be chosen. I stopped waiting to be good enough, and I decided that I was. I decided that I made the rules. I threw back out the rule book and I started making decisions for me, and I hope that you are able to do that too. On Saturday, I am doing a vision board workshop, and it's not just an arts and crafts project. When I tell you guys that vision boarding and visualization and scripting and sitting down and truly getting crystal clear on what it is I want for my life changed the game for me, it did, but it all started when I decided that I would no longer be an innocent bystander in this world or in my story. I'm not playing like a side or stagehand or extra. And I don't want you to do that either. I would love for you to come and hang out with me Saturday. I'm going to teach you the science behind vision boarding. I'm going to teach you why it works. I'm going to teach you what you need to do to create your board and what you need to do after you create your board to take the aligned action. Okay? So I've had all sorts of emotions to come up, and it reminds me that when you've been broken and you piece yourself back together, you can appear as strong as you want to, but sometimes things happen and the old you attempts to slip out of the cracks, and you get to regain your composure. You get to have that moment to sit with your emotions, to recognize what they are, and then you get to decide where you move from there. So if you're out there and you're watching and you're like, I don't know, yeah, I know, and you're worthy and you're enough and you're worth the investment and you're not a gamble. And I want you to be happy. I want you to be free. Have an excellent week, y'all. And I want you to stay safe in the snow. We'll talk soon.